Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Majors Live, episode 325 here on TMSNX Radio, themajors.net.
The doink is contagious.
The doink is contagious. Jesus Christ.
After Cody Parkey doinks, double doinks in yesterday's playoff game, Alabama to what should have tied it at 14 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Doinked an extra point.
And then my dad sends me a meme. It's actually really funny. Cody Parkey leaving the Bears game last night, and it's a
picture of a car around one of those concrete
yellow
bollards or whatever you call them, wrapped around that
God.
to hit the post.
Funny. I like
Alabama missed 9 extra points this year.
Have they?
So the stat says.
Wow. Damn, most in FBS.
Why can Nick Saban never recruit kickers?
I don't know. I don't think he cares.
He sent his most recent punter's in the league.
Well, hasn't his problem always been, not really getting quarterbacks that
Not recently.
kind of make the pants tight a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, Tua's probably the lone exception to that rule. The rest of them are just been game managers.
Yeah.
Although A.J. McCarron's carved himself out a pretty decent career.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's still a backup, though.
Yeah, he's back up in Oakland now.
Yeah. I mean, but
he's made a bunch of money to not play much.
You're right. He's still in the league. Who was the one before that? Was it Greg McElroy?
Who's now an analyst on ESPN, who played in the league for 2 or 3 years and started probably a half dozen games.
Who did he play with? The Jets?
Jets.
Yeah. Anyways, though. Like I said, everybody, welcome. Tonight we've got a 14-13 score in the college football championship game. Clemson's beating Alabama. What are we at? 6:18 left in the first. So obviously there's still lots of time here.
There's still 4 hours of this game left.
You never know. I mean, like you said though, Dorf, that doink could be the could be the difference maker.
We'll be chasing that point all night, man.
Yep. Anyways, our fan question tonight: should teams look to take Kyler Murray in the first round? We'll get to that in just a little bit. We'll get to our blow by blow right now. Dorf. Trevor Bauer was acting like a fucking creep on
what did
Twitter.
he do this time?
Oh my God.
I generally am a Trevor Bauer Twitter fan. I didn't see what he did.
Oh my God. He was harassing this woman
Trevor,
for more than a day. That's the headline on Deadspin. Trevor Bauer has been harassing a woman for more than a day on Twitter. And it all started with this girl saying my new least favorite person in all of sports. And I guess there's a picture of Trevor Bauer or something. And you know what? Athletes, obviously, that's something they have to deal with. And quite frankly, I kind of like the athlete that claps back a little bit. That will say something back to the fan.
He's now going after everybody.
What was that?
He's going after everybody still.
No, he's going after this one girl. There was
Nikki Gleese or whatever.
Yes, what was it? What is it here? How many tweets?
Who has deleted her Twitter, by the way?
Has she deleted her Twitter? See, I mean, this is the problem here. Because of Trevor Bauer continuing to, just get back at this girl. What was it? I mean, he went to bed and then woke up the next morning, and it says
kept going.
12 hours later, and kept going with this back and forth with this girl. And he said he's defending himself by not directly tweeting at her, just her handle was in there. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, and then on the 30th, he's recorded this video in the airport of 2 women apparently talking way too loudly at an airport gate. Good grief! If you're going to yell about your life and force the entire airport to lurch to your Calista story, please God, do not let this out of your mouth. This is the worst self-inflicted verbal train wrecks I've ever witnessed. Blank. My generation is stupid. Double puke emoji.
Yeah, I don't know though. This generally up to this
didn't
point,
even censor the faces or anything either. I haven't listened to it, but Trevor's usually a pretty good follow. I mean, there was that one time he helped the kid with his math homework, and
I don't know. This is creepy though.
And I like his drone footage and his podcast crap, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is creepy though. I would agree. I think that this is creepy. Like if you want to do a quick back and forth with this person.
Plus, I'm generally also a fan of how he his pitch development and his work with driveline baseball and all that stuff. So,
yeah, but this right here, this isn't a good look for Trevor Bauer. This is something that is, like I said, and like Deadspin says, is something that's pretty creepy. Let it go. You make a shit ton of money. You're a professional baseball pitcher. You don't need to be picking this up 12 hours later when you wake up the next morning. It's not something that needs to be happening. Trevor Bauer, you kind of suck for this.
not enough to knock me off the fandom.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not telling you to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The Packers have a new head coach for Aaron Rodgers to hate.
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur.
Who's like the same age.
Well, there's that new run right now of trying to get the
hire the next kid.
Hire the next kid. Hire the next.
So your coach does not have to do the hello fellow kids routine.
He is the fellow kid.
Yes.
Kind of. But anyways, Matt LaFleur is the. Is that how we're gonna say his name from now on? Is he gonna be Matt LaFleur?
He is a local boy too. He's Mount Pleasant.
Yep, and he went to where'd he go?
I know he's finished at Saginaw Valley. I think he started somewhere in D1 and transferred.
Did he start at Central?
He might have.
Where'd he go?
I'll look that up.
You gonna look that
I
up?
think he
Sean's
started
not
at
here.
Western, I believe.
Sean's not here. So
I believe he started at Western.
Should we call Sean to see if he can look it up for us?
He's probably working still. Come on, Matt LaFleur. Now that everybody's, I can't find your Wikipedia page anymore because everybody. Come on. Started at finished at Saginaw Valley. Started at Western.
Okay. So it was Western. All right, that's cool.
Believe it is.
I don't know. You got to
Western, where he played wide receiver, and then he transferred to Saginaw Valley and played QB, and started at 3 years for QB for Saginaw Valley.
I don't know if you're the Packers.
He also played the National Indoor League with the Omaha Beef. And the Billings Outlaws.
If you're the Packers, do you get an offensive guy to be your new head coach? To me, it seems like you go defense.
I think you go honestly, I think you go defense and just say, Aaron, I'm just going to stay out the way. You do what you do.
Yeah.
You do what you want.
I mean, hasn't Aaron Rodgers gotten to the point right now where
he's his own OC anyway?
I mean, you can hand him the reins and let him.
Have you ever seen any of the? He's very obviously listening to stuff in the headset, and you can just see him roll his eyes at Mike McCarthy play calls. It was pretty good. It was pretty good television.
Okay.
Just like, well, we're not going to do that.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Dorf, who do you think the most powerful people in sports media are?
Powerful people in sports media.
Sports media. Because the Big League just put out a list, I think, of...
they have like a power rankings list here?
Yeah, the 75 most powerful people...
75?
75 most powerful people in the sports media business. Sports media business.
Media business. So are we talking like executives or like on-air talent only?
Well, they have on-air talent and they have executives. Do you want me to go down the list of the top 10?
Sure, go through the top 10. Got a lot of feelings.
Name one feeling. Just throw one out there.
The guys that I really like will not be on the top of the list.
Okay,
they probably won't be on the list at all.
What's one guy?
My favorite play-by-play guy, Gus Johnson, will not be on the list.
I don't know if he's on the list or not, but he's definitely not in the top 10.
I love me some Gus Johnson. He gets buckets.
No, I like Pat McAfee better now.
Pat McAfee's pretty damn. He's too young in his sports commentating career to be on the I'm sure anybody's power list. His podcast is too young.
Okay, realistic one then.
Probably it's going to be in the top 10. Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons is not in the top 10.
Well, fucking biased.
All right, here we go. Number 10, your favorite, Joe Buck.
I figured he was going to be in the top 10. He is starting to actually slightly grow on me a bit. I think it's more that everybody gets stuck with. I despise.
I never minded Joe Buck. Never.
He's not my favorite, but he's
not my favorite
no
either.
longer somebody I will watch a game on mute because he's on it.
Yeah. He's not my favorite either, but he's never been a guy that bugged me.
I still love me some Gus Johnson. I'd love to listen to Gus Johnson call golf. I think it would be great.
They'd have to tell
Dude, watch. That would be great. Gus and Pat.
On golf?
No, Gus Johnson and Pat McAfee do football. That'd be
that would be
great.
Fun. That would be fun. Number 9, Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro of Endeavor.
I've heard the names. Couldn't tell you who they are.
Anyways, number 8, Nick Khan.
Who?
Khan has, for 4 years, represented many of the biggest names in sports media, including, it sounds like he's an agent.
Oh, he's an agent. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I've never heard of him.
Number 7, David Levy for Turner.
Is he like the president of Turner Broadcasting or something?
Sports media, Turner Sports, the NBA. It sounds like he's a driving force.
Okay.
Number 6, Shawn McManus and Mark Lazarus. They're both
For the names.
Comparison, core cutting concerns. Yeah, just executives. Number 5. This is our first athlete.
Oh, okay.
And only athlete in the top 10.
Okay.
LeBron James and Maverick Carter.
Oh.
Spring Hill Entertainment.
Okay. I get it.
Number 4, Vince McMahon.
I wasn't thinking about athletes as being a part of it, but okay.
Number 4, Vince McMahon and Dana White.
Okay. Don't know why they're listed together.
Yeah, neither do I. So this really isn't this is more than a top 10, actually. But yeah, you're right. In this instance right here, I don't know why they're listed together either. Number 3, Eric Shanks and Mark Silverman of Fox Sports.
Okay.
Number 2, Jimmy Pitaro and Kevin Mayer. Pitaro is part of ESPN and Mayer is part of Disney. Same thing. And then number 1, Rupert Murdoch and Bob Iger.
They don't work for the same company. This is a dumb list. Who put this together?
The big lead.
You should be fired. Bob Iger is the chairman of Disney. Rupert Murdoch is Lord Fox.
So Bob Iger would be the most.
Although Rupert Murdoch just sold a bunch of shit to Bob Iger, so come on.
So maybe that's the thing. Anyways, though, what else do we have here to close out our blow by blow? But I mean, Bob Iger, though, he would probably be the most powerful, right?
Well, for now, until he resigns so he can run for president.
Is he going to run for president?
There's a pretty good chance he runs for president on the Democratic ticket. You know nothing about his politics. He's going to get housed, and he's going to resign his chairmanship of Disney as a result. Mm-hmm. Fucking idiot.
Big corporate downs. Didn't we just talk about this before we went on the air?
Yep.
And then finally...
You won't even, this is going to be the same thing that was in the last Republican primary. There's going to be 22 people fighting for the microphone, and it's going to be ugly. And the first one who reverts to, Little Marco, Lion Ted, I don't know, the Democrat equivalent of that is...
I don't know if they have it. Is he going to be Uncle Joe?
Crazy Uncle Joe. The meme's already there. It's creepy Uncle Joe. If Joe Biden ends up being the front runner, you're never going to hear Joe Biden come out of Donald Trump's mouth. It'll be creepy Uncle Joe or creepy Joe.
Probably.
Dude, that's a big problem, man. All the videos of Joe Biden creeping on people. Anyway, let's go back to sports ball.
And finally, Brian Kelly to the NFL? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Right now, it seems like the
anybody would be stupid to do it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are.
They should have learned their coach. Stop hiring dumb coaches from the NCAA.
Yeah, I'm not.
Greg Schiano, ring a bell.
Greg Schiano, yeah, I don't. Brian Kelly will not last in the NFL.
No.
Brian Kelly would be a tremendous...
He very much strikes me as a get-off-my-lawn guy.
Brian Kelly...
Which ain't going to fly in the NFL.
Brian Kelly, I'm not even sure, is a good college coach.
He's really not. His offensive scheme could be summarized as go routes and hope for DPI.
Yeah. Anyways,
defensive pass interference for the
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see Brian Kelly ultimately making that transition over in the NFL. But
his offensive scheme is inside zone and go routes.
Would you hear that Miami, the alums there, University of Miami, were putting out the feelers on getting Rex Ryan to coach there? Never happened.
What? Cocaine Rex?
Yeah.
No.
No. Maybe they're trying to go back to the days of. Getting their boosters,
Catholics and convicts or whatever.
Well,
that era.
No, in Miami.
Yeah, I know. They were the convicts part of Catholics and convicts.
Well, what their heyday.
They play each other here pretty soon.
I was gonna say their heyday was when they had boosters paying for abortions and shit like that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Anyways, bitches and badasses this week. Dorf, do you have one?
Which one?
Badass.
I think my badass this week is going to be Andrew Luck. Back from the dead, leading a Colts team that no one thought would like be above 500 at the beginning of the year, let alone winning a road playoff game over a Houston team who's pretty damn good themselves. So I'm going to think Andrew Luck is my badass this week.
All right, my badass this week is going to be Nick Foles. Man,
Nick Foles magic, man.
I don't know, man. Him going off and doing what he does.
Oh my God!
Again. What happened?
Alabama kicker almost missed a chip shot.
But they take the lead. They take the lead.
He did sneak it from the left hash, snuck it inside the right upright.
Hold on, I gotta see this.
25 yards. I doubt they'll show a replay. It was pretty anticlimactic, actually.
Was it?
Yeah.
Whatever.
He used the whole width of the uprights. Let's put it that way.
But Nick Foles going off and doing it again, finding Golden Tate for the was it the final minute or just outside the final minute? Outside the final minute touchdown to put the Eagles up for good after Cody Parkey missed that
huge return by Tariq Cohen, by the way.
Oh, it was a huge return. Would he bring it out to like the 40 or the 45 or something like that?
One,
yeah.
They only needed like 20 yards to get in field goal range.
Yeah, but Nick Foles though, looking like he's going to do it again, maybe, possibly. Going off and winning that game, though, on the road in Chicago, you can't look past that. I mean, this is...
How does that man not have a starting job again?
Well, Philly didn't trade him.
I mean, he should have had the clout to walk in there and be like, guys, I want to start again. Trade me.
Well, we're going to get to that.
And I totally understand why they didn't, especially with Wentz coming off the ACL tear. So
we're going to get to that in just a little bit. Who's your bitch this week? Do you have one, Dorf?
My bitch this week is me, NFL officials. Like, come on, please make it less obvious they're trying to make Dallas win.
Jerry Jones has him in his back pocket.
I don't even think it needs to be in his pocket. It's like on his lap, like out in front of public view for everybody.
Yeah, maybe. Mine is Trevor Bauer, my bitch, for everything we talked about earlier. Dorf, you brought this to my attention. I sent the link.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Well, do you want me to introduce the topic?
Introduce it. Go ahead.
Okay. Long story short, the student newspaper at University of Central Florida, UCF Golden Knights, who until their bowl game this past couple weeks ago at this point, had not lost a game in 2 years, yet it was not given a spot in the college football playoff, was I believe on GoFundMe, raising money to get to fund a investigation against the SEC for corruption on like colluding to keep UCF out of the college football playoff. So that's pretty much it. So it's not the university itself; it's the student newspaper. So it's not like this isn't really have like the big force of action where it's like the University of Central Florida is filing a lawsuit against the NCAA or the Southeastern Conference. It's the student newspaper trying to raise some money so they can go fly some people out to do like on the field reporting.
Yeah, and they are right now. What they're doing
pretty sour grapes.
Is they're gonna try to file a Freedom of Information Act to try to get a bunch of emails.
Those are fucking expensive, man. By the way.
Yeah, between
the NCAA and the SEC commissioner.
Yeah, and then the one of the top guys at the University of Missouri, and like one of the emails they're particularly looking at here, among the evidence, the Knights News case is a series of emails between Missouri AD Jim Sturck and Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland of the CFP Selection Committee. What did they say here? Is hopeful you can take a look and share info with the committee, Sturck wrote. Thanks, Jim. I'm a big fan of your team. Will do my best, Strickland replied. The only thing about that, though, is Missouri didn't... it's not like Missouri went to the college football playoff or anything like that, but it's...
Ooh, there might be a targeting call. Well, they're not going to do it because the next snap's about to go, but Trevor Lawrence just got helmet-to-helmeted.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
I really don't know what to make of this. Obviously, in our last show, in previous shows as well, Dorf, you were speaking about, just the rigged nature of the college football playoff committee.
I can't say it's rigged because at the same time, I still think they did put the 4 best teams in the playoff this year. Mm-hmm. But for a team like UCF, yes, your schedule's weak sauce, but you won every game in 2 years. To not even be like, they finished 8th and undefeated. Like, come on.
And it was set up this year to put the 4 undefeated teams in the college football playoff. When they had 4 undefeated teams. And they had 4 spots. You have 4 spots to put in there, and like you said, that's probably the most compelling argument is you settle it on the field with the 4 undefeated teams
if you have them
in FBS. If you have them, and you had them.
Hey, they won more FBS games this year than Alabama did. Plays that FCS week, second to last week bullshit. Yeah.
But I mean, is there?
Not anymore because of them losing their bowl game in Alabama and currently playing for the national title game.
Is there some deep-rooted conspiracy in all of this?
Can't say it's a conspiracy because I don't think they're keeping the best team out. But at the same time, the fact that you've done everything right, you won every single game, and to not have a shot, I think is horseshit.
The problem, though, is
it's set up. The system is set up in the way that if you're not a member of the Power 5 conference, no matter what you do, you'll never make it.
Mm-hmm. And nothing's going to come up of this. I mean, all of this, they're not going to. I don't think a student.
They're not going to make even if they find something here, they're not going to make whoever wins tonight vacate their national title.
No.
UCF will probably get some money out of it.
They'll probably.
By the way, touchdown Clemson.
Oh wow!
Just marched right back down the field. Clemson up 20-16, extra point pending.
Wow. That was quick.
Oh yeah, this went hot knife through butter down the field.
Damn. This is gonna be a good game. Here, Lawrence. Oh, just ran it right in. Look at that.
Perfect inside zone blocking.
Nice. But like I said, I don't think anything is going to come of this. UCF did turn down a 1-1 series though with Florida.
2-1.
Oh, it's 2-1.
2 at Florida, 1 at UCF. Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's something right there. I mean, UCF, you wanna help your case out a little bit.
Well, their argument was, we are just
5.
as prestige. At this point, we're just as prestigious as you. Why should we have to go 2 for 1? We'll take 1 for 1.
But if you know what though, what do you have to lose?
Well, at this point, you'll never get Alabama on your schedule because they'll only do you come to them and plus neutral site, which they'll bail on the you come to them.
I mean, that's not even the point though. I mean, the point is you trying to put some more competition on your schedule. You're given the opportunity to do that, and you don't take it. You have, what do you have to lose in that point?
It's all negotiation. I honestly think they'll end up with a team like Florida on their schedule. I think it's just, you don't want to take somebody's first offer, especially when it's not what you want.
I hope they do because because I've ragged on UCF in the past. I'm a firm believer that UCF didn't really deserve to be in the college football playoff based off of who they've played. When I saw this about Florida giving them the offer and UCF turning it down, that didn't help UCF's case for people who think like myself. I want to see UCF go off and play some teams during the regular season. And so far, they really haven't done that. And a lot of people said, well, nobody wants to go and take the chance with UCF. Okay, that's fair enough. But we saw somebody in Florida try to do that. And Florida this season looked pretty good. UCF didn't jump on the opportunity to do that. And I don't know. You don't make a case for yourself to continue to bitch and cry about yourself being left out of it. But I do. I hope that they are able to negotiate something out. I hope that they do put some tougher competition on their schedule because I want to see what this UCF team is truly all about when they're playing actual teams and not, teams out of the what are they playing? The AAC, the American Athletic Conference. Yes. Yeah. Play some real teams. Charlie Strong's there too, right?
It's South Florida.
Oh, he said South Florida. Sorry. So I don't know. I don't think, like I said, though, I don't think anything's going to come out of this. Do I think that the college football playoff would be more prone to changing their formats if, like, an Alabama was left out?
Absolutely. It would get changed, like, on the fly.
Yeah.
They would be adding teams, like, with 2 weeks to spare.
Yeah, absolutely. They would jump at the opportunity to add.
All of a sudden, post conference championship week, Alabama's not in the picture. Oh, it's now a 16 playoff this year. What?
Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunately, that's probably what it's going to take here to get the NCAA to open, or the College Football Playoff Committee to open this thing up a little bit. And so you can get a
the College Football Playoff Committee, you can make so much more money.
I know.
Play 2 more games. I want 4 more games. Yeah, I want 16 teams.
Yeah.
But come on,
Dorf and I are crazy.
Yeah,
We're crazy. We want 16 teams in there, even though
we really should do a show dedicated to explaining that and why we do it and how it works, and
even though the
probably save it for next year. Even though we've said it, we should do that this year, 3 years now.
Even Division II does it.
Yep.
Because that's always the argument is.
Division II, it's even weirder. It's bigger than 16 because there's super regional. There's 5-team super regionals, and the number 1 seed gets a bye.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
I love how all of a sudden college football fan cares about kids' education when you bring up
Honestly,
the idea of a 16-team playoff.
Level, they ain't here to play school, man.
Nope.
With very rare exception, these guys aren't studying real degrees that will actually yield them anything in real life. Very rare exception. Sorry, anytime you see somebody study communications or kinesiology, it's not real. Or, even look at, one of the best left tackles in the NFL, Taylor Lewan. You know what he graduated from Michigan with?
What's that?
A general studies degree.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
What kind of job are you going to get with that?
An NFL football player.
General studies degree.
Studies. Hey, man. He's made bazillions of dollars as a damn good football player. So
he's made bazillions of dollars as a general studies major.
Yep. Proof positive. You should study general studies.
God, I wonder if I could get my general studies degree from Eastern. I've taken all my general studies classes.
I forget how it works. I'm pretty sure it's something like you need X amount of 100 level, 200 level, 300, 400 level. Dude, you don't have to be any rhyme or reason on which ones you choose. You just need a certain amount of each.
I think I've taken every class at Eastern. Give me a degree, damn it. Anyways.
Pay your bill.
This is... Oh, yeah, I got to pay that, too. Damn. Checks in the mail. Here's one right up your alley, Dorf.
Sure.
I wanna hear your thoughts on this. And, this came from Barstool Sports, but their source on this was Fangraphs.
Okay.
So there is obviously something
here.
Something, yes. The headline is Major League Baseball is heading down a very dangerous path that likely leads to a player's strike.
Yep.
Okay, last time we had a player...
This isn't a unique or new idea, by the way. People who know how to read data have been talking this for 2 years.
Okay, and obviously the last time that Major League Baseball saw a strike was back in 1994 when the World Series got wiped out and the Montreal Expos
but there was a brief lockout in between that, which didn't affect regular season play.
No, but that's the year, too, that the Montreal Expos were screwed out of their World Series title, and so on and so forth.
Everybody's still bitter about it.
Yeah. The city of Montreal, yes, is still... They're still claiming their 1994 World Series title with that ridiculously amazing team that they had that year. So,
golly, what, 3 or 4 guys that ended up in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, like Vlad Guerrero, Pedro,
Bart, Big Bart.
Yeah, I think they had Dennis Martinez as their closer.
Who else did they have? Wasn't like Andres Galarraga on that team too?
I think
Who was
so.
pretty damn good.
Yeah, they had a
Robbie Alomar too, wasn't it?
Was he? I think he might have been. I don't know.
Like 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on the team, and a couple guys that are in the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
But here's what they have here. Like I said, they're looking at the biggest contracts in MLB history in 2019 dollars. Alex Rodriguez, if he signed his...
So they're adjusting for inflation.
Yep, they're adjusting for inflation. So if Alex Rodriguez, his 2001 contract...
Which is like, what, 10 and 285?
Yeah, if he signed that today, it'd be for $592 million. Oh, shit. With an average annual value of $59.2 million. Yep. Alex Rodriguez in 2008, 10 years, $448 million, 44.8 average annual value.
Yep.
The most recent one on here would be Giancarlo Stanton in 2015.
This was 10 at 325 at that point.
Right here is 13 years, $393 million and 30.3 average annual value. Yep. And they go, I mean, there's Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter is number 3, Stanton is number 4,
By the way,
Manny's number 5.
Alabama was driving right back down the field, costly interception by Tua, just threw it right to a safety.
Oh, wow. Yeah, overthrew him and
overthrew Jerry Jeudy. Like, how do you do that?
But basically what we have here, Dorf, is players and agents in today's game taking a step back and looking at these older contracts, especially the 2 highest, projected to be the highest paid
player spending is down,
yes.
By the way.
You have Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, 2 huge free agents this offseason.
Yep.
Right now, MLB Trade Rumors was projecting them to, let's see if I can.
I mean, you had a fairly, upper tier. David Price was an upper tier pitcher a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. All coming off a bad year, signed a $200 million deal.
Yep.
You won't see a guy. I mean, the highest deal so far this offseason is Pat Corbin at $140.
Okay, so this year, though.
Which, at the time, Pat Corbin and David Price in their free agent year, very, very comparable.
Okay. MLB Trade Rumors right now is projecting that Manny gets a 13-year deal for $390 million and $14 and $400 for Bryce Harper.
Jesus.
Yes. But still
not anywhere close adjusted for inflation and revenue expansion compared to the A-Rod deals.
No, and when you look at okay, take for instance the NFL.
Sure.
What happens when a starting quarterback hits the free agent? Well, not hit the free agent mark. What happens?
Starting quarterbacks that are any good never hit free agency, but when it's contract time,
they
always get more than the last guy.
Yes. You do not see that in Major League Baseball, and the NFL is historically bad when it comes to taking care of their players.
And a lot of the reason I think the disparity in why the NFL and the MLB is not a good comparison is guaranteed versus not guaranteed contracts.
True.
Whereas you see these guys in the NFL sign these mega deals, they never see all that money. They're always a restructuring, or they get cut with time left, or sign extensions at the end. They never see all that cash. Mm-hmm. They see most of it in quarterbacks' cases, but like if you see a defensive player sign something like a 5-year, $50 million deal with like 35 guaranteed, you bet your ass they don't see a cent more than the 35.
That's true. And you know what? There really isn't a good comparison to baseball. The NBA, but you still have max deals and all that crap too.
That's true. Yep. Which is stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it is.
That's a different topic for a different show.
But Dorf, you're a numbers guy. You're contracts guy. I mean, do you see a budding problem with this?
I think the biggest impasse is players are going to need to realize that they're not going to get the years that they used to, because teams are smart, and in the post-steroid era, guys aren't playing at super high levels into their mid to late 30s. Mm-hmm. They're just not. And that's and you know what? Teams aren't, have gotten smart and realized it's franchise killers and GM firing, franchise ruining and GM unemployment line creating contracts if you pay guys that much money at the end of their careers. So GMs just won't do it. They need to realize that they're going to need to bump up the average annual value for less years. And you look at like the Red Sox. I believe it was I think it was Ben Cherington at the time. Now he's not with the Red Sox anymore, but said that we are willing to match dollar for dollar what other teams are willing to pay. We're just not willing to give them as many years. They're willing to pay a guy $30 million a year that over 4 years instead of 20 over 6. They're willing to do that. Mm-hmm. And with that being in mind, I think, and players need to come to that terms that, you know what, you're not going to get that contract anymore where you're going to play the rest of your once you hit free agency at like 28 years old, you're not going to get that one contract where you'll never have to play for another one again. Mm-hmm. You'll get a big contract, but it'll be for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And that's okay. Because you're still, if you're up to snuff, we'll be able to make even more money playing the next few years on likely 1-year deals. And you even have this monkey wrench. And I know you ripped on him early in the show, but you look at Trevor Bauer, who's, a year or two away from free agency. He's already said he will never sign more than a 1-year deal. He will take shit tons of money over 1 year because he just looks at the probability of outcomes and him as a player, he will never take more than a 1-year deal. He feels like he can make more in his career if it's a contract year every year. And somebody will be willing to give him $30 million on a 1-year deal instead of an average annual value over 4 or 5 of 20 something.
No,
And he'll get that 30, 32, 33, 3 or 4 years in a row, and it'll work out for him in the end. He's betting on himself, and that's a risky gamble. And I understand why professional athletes, especially NFL players, want that guaranteed money. But he feels like that. You know what? Dude's never been hurt. Touchdown, Clemson. Another rushing touchdown. Man, maybe my analysis on Blitzcast about the defensive line advantage was totally wrong.
Damn, that's already up too.
Can you pull that down? Now all of a sudden there's this runaway Streisand effect. But anyway, I think there's going to need to be a fundamental change in agreement between players and ownership about how contracts will work in the future. The dollars need to go up. And for the love of God, Bryce, Manny, one of you two fucking sign. Like, the market needs to be set. Everybody else needs to find homes. The musical chairs game needs to stop. Hurry up.
Pitchers and catchers report
in like 6 weeks.
Yes. Yes, we're coming up on that.
Like,
it is.
Hurry up.
Yeah, I think it's like, what, February 16th? Something like that?
That's usually mid-February is about when it happens, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely around the corner. I know it's the beginning of July, the year just turned over, but yeah, pitchers and catchers
will be July. I mean, beginning of
January, yep. But yeah, it's coming up. Interesting enough too, when we see this and we're talking about this, headline from Forbes and across the board, whether it's Yahoo Sports, whatever, MLB sees record revenues of $10.3 billion for 2018. Is this going to fuel the fire for?
It's absolutely going to fuel a player strike. Revenue's going up, but you're not spending. Your contract. I don't know how the revenue sharing agreement between players and ownership works in the MLB. It's not like the NFL where they've got to spend 50% of select revenue on player salaries. I'm not sure how it works in the MLB. But if there's that sort of understanding or something like that in the MLB that you have to spend roughly X percent of revenue on player salaries, and that revenue's growing but salaries aren't growing at the same rate, you're going to have arguably a collusion case that will end up at probably the National Labor Relations Board, and never know how that'll end up. So,
and it's actually a little higher than that too, Dorf, because that number didn't include the $2.58 billion sale of BAMTech, which I believe is their. I think it's their multimedia.
That was MLB.TV.
Yeah, and that they sold that to Disney, but that wasn't reported in the overall
probably
revenue.
Not revenue that would have to be shared with players anyway.
Let's see.
I'm sure
here.
it's like tickets and TV has to be split. That's usually how it works.
Let's see here. The league saw gate revenues flat for 2018, but because of a 4% drop in attendance attributed largely to bad weather in the spring
and teams tankathons.
Yep, and a change in how the Miami Marlins Toronto Blue Jays accounted for sales. Ancillary revenues tied to attendance, such as concessions and parking, sagged. But overall, though,
revenue was up overall. So quit your bitching, pay the players.
And this is for the 16th consecutive year, too, Dorf, that MLB saw record gross revenues.
And this is like, I think now this is a 2-year pattern where salaries aren't growing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with, it's sabermetrics, man. Teams have realized it's not worth paying middling players after their first contract. And it's smart. And it's all about making more with less. And this is what happens when you put the nerds in charge of baseball. Was it Dennis Eckersley went on a Get Off My Lawn rant about, nerds ruining I don't think it was Eckersley.
No, that was Goose Gossage.
Goose Gossage, yeah. Sorry, I got my...
Remember the goose egg, man.
Yeah. Got my wrong, 70s, 80s pitcher. My bad.
No, David Price told Dennis Eckersley to get off his plane.
Okay, so I got my wrong... Anyway. This is what happens when you put the nerds in charge.
The bean counters.
They found trends in data, they explained them, and now we're trying to maximize the positive effects of them. That's why shifts are a thing. You look at the advanced, pitch creation methods, specifically being pioneered like guys like Driveline Baseball, who famously work, it's where Trevor Bauer works out, and they consult with umpteen MLB teams. They're getting close to maximizing the human body. what you're able to do with the human body. And now that they know so much and there's all this data and people understand it in the front offices, and you have general managers who are traditional baseball guys willing to listen to it, you can't be surprised that this is the inevitable outcome of it. Middling players, the guys that would go get, 7-8 years ago, $75 million over 5 years as a middling player for their first free agency contract. Those guys are getting 1-year deals for like 6.
Yeah.
Like you look at like a perfect example of this phenomenon was here in Detroit. Anibal Sanchez got $5.85 after the 2013 season
When he had the what was it, the ERA title? It was after the ERA title. Yep.
$5.85. Eye test wasn't great. Had a really good year. 29, had an injury history. That guy now maybe gets a 2-year deal. Mm-hmm. Whereas he had multiple bidders at the 5.85-ish. So in today's money, that's about $5.100. They're like Homer Bailey, who's kind of got $5.100 from the Reds. He's been terrible ever since, and it's because teams like that aren't spending on guys like that anymore. Homer Bailey was nowhere close to elite, but those sort of contracts aren't happening anymore. The elite players are still getting their cheddar. They're still getting paid.
Just not as much.
Yeah.
Years wise, too.
Yeah. Not so much. I mean, I can't even. If you're actually being smart about your data science, you don't count the A-Rod deal. It's such an outlier. It's such a statistical anomaly that you can't even count it in good faith in the data set.
And you look at those two top deals too, and they're both Yankees deals.
Yeah,
it's a Jeter deal.
It's not even a Yankees deal. It's just like they're so ridiculously outside the they're umpteen standard deviations away from normal. Like in good faith, as a data scientist, you can't count that.
The funny thing is,
it makes a good headline. I'm not going to lie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like the Giancarlo Stanton deal should count, but the A-Rod deal, I'm sorry that you can't compare those.
Do you want to count the Albert Pujols deal too?
With like the 13 and
it was
290 or whatever.
Right now it would be adjusted to 10 and 358.
Yeah, because he's still around. He's still playing.
With a 35.8 average annual value.
And it ain't much lower than that in reality either. It's like 20. It's going to end up being like 28.
How about this too, Dorf? I mean, has baseball reached a threshold? Really? I mean, because at some point...
And here's another thing. You would, in traditional baseball, if you didn't have the stat nerds involved, you'd have like 8 teams making $300 million offers to Manny Machado and Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Now you're lucky if you have 2, and there's a bunch of stipulations, performance incentives, delayed payouts, bullshit. That has to be built in there for those guys to get their money.
Shit that people don't see.
I mean, the most creative signing, arguably, in MLB history, there's 2. You have Max Scherzer. He's only getting paid half of his annual ender value now, and he'll get paid for another 7 years. So it's actually a 15-year contract. He's getting paid for 15 years to play for 7. And a lot of that it was a bonus because he plans on moving to an income tax-free state upon his retirement, and out of the District of Columbia, who has pretty damn high income tax.
Mm-hmm.
Plans on moving to Florida when he's done, which doesn't have a state income tax. So that's another incentive. But at the same time, if you're an economist or any sort of financial guy, the time value of money says you made a stupid decision. But anyway, the idea of these guys not getting paid, blame the dorks. But the dorks have made baseball better. Fight me if you don't agree with me.
Dorf's the guy sitting at the table right now that says "change my mind" and he's sipping a coffee cup.
Yes, I am. It's Steven Crowder.
Yeah, he is that meme right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. But who knows? I mean, that's the downside of this. I think you're right, Dorf. I think the baseball is heading to an impasse between their players and the owners, and it's something that could very well. In this case, it's going to lead to a strike as opposed to a lockout.
Yeah, it'll be a strike.
Yep.
Ownership's got nothing to be mad about. Their revenues are up and they're spending less money.
Yep. Interesting enough. I mean, you don't.
And here's the other thing. Another reason for a player strike that you could potentially see. Here's another thing. Why salaries are down. Teams that are tanking don't sign those mid-level bridge guys anymore. They say, fuck it, we're just going to suck with the guys that we have. And which means you have a bunch of other middling players that aren't getting deals. Or they're not getting bigger deals. You know, if you can play, you'll find a home, but it's going to be on a one-year deal.
And in some sense, that's forced their big guys out.
Yeah. Like poor Joey Votto.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, a perfect example, like Joey Votto, perfect example. Guy's never going to win anything. Guy should go in, well, if he keeps this up, plays another 6-7 years, it's arguably Hall of Fame bound. He'll never win anything. The Reds are on such a long progression track that he's going to be a corpse by the time they're ready to win again.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move along though, because we got to wrap this up. I want to get to an unpopular opinion this week, and that is the Eagles should keep Nick Foles over Carson Wentz.
This was actually a discussion in some football circles at the beginning of last year.
Beginning of last year?
Well, beginning of this year, rather.
Well, this is going to pick up, especially if Nick Foles goes out and
keeps winning.
If he goes on and he beats the New Orleans Saints, and then, God forbid, for that Philadelphia Eagles front office, if they go on and win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Because all of a sudden you have a two...
Ooh, Tua just got broken in half. Ouch.
Is that a fumble?
Yeah, I think he was down beforehand. It was recovered by Alabama anyway.
Okay.
Ouch. Untouched blitz, safety blitz off the edge. You got split in half.
But hypothetically though, and it's a very real possibility because the Eagles are in the playoffs. They did make it past Wild Card Weekend, and they are in the divisional round right now. Nick Foles goes on and beats the New Orleans Saints. I don't think it'll happen. Dorf doesn't think it'll happen, but it's definitely possible. Did anybody think that Nick Foles was going to go on and beat the Patriots last year in the Super Bowl? Hell no. Nobody thought that Nick Foles, a backup quarterback, was going to go...
It's not like Nick Foles hadn't started in the league before. No. And had success. By the way, he owns the single-season record for highest passer rating, by the way.
No, you're right. You're right.
And not that passer rating is a terribly useful statistic, but...
But still, you're going on and you're playing Darth Hoodie and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And you beat them.
Quite easily, by the way.
Yes. And here we are. Lo and behold, Carson Wentz is hurt. Nick Foles is the starter
By the way, here's another thing, or another reason it may not be the Eagles' choice. Do you hear the fuckery about Carson Wentz's injury?
What is it?
The Eagles lied to him about having a fracture in his back. They told him he's all fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They lied to him.
Who else did that happen to? I was going to say, no, they didn't happen to Tony Romo. He knew he had a fractured back.
Cam Newton did too. He had that car, when he flipped his car, he fractured his back and only missed a week.
Yeah, but wasn't that by choice though? He came back.
I'm not sure about that.
Because I know that Tony Romo...
he had a fracture in a fractured vertebrae, and they didn't tell him. They lied to him about it. They told him, "Oh yeah, you're all good, man. Don't worry about it." And it's like, it really hurts, man. I think I want a second opinion. You want to get a second opinion? The other doctor's like, "Fucking A, man.
Well,
you got a broken back."
Well, that's NFL doctors, team doctors versus...
If I was Carson Wentz, I'd march to the fucking front office and say, this offseason you're going to fucking trade me. That's like the ultimate, lack of trust there. I understand that team doctors are team employees and they're looking out for the team, but for the love of God, that injury could literally paralyze. If I get hit wrong, and I don't know that, I could be playing my way into a permanent spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
Now, that's a risk for every football player in every play, but for the love of God, my back is broken.
But your chances of getting injured are
significantly higher.
Yes.
Especially then when you're not as mobile and you're now not able to protect yourself as well. Mm-hmm. Dude. So what I'm saying is, I don't know that much about Carson Wentz. Is it likely that if something's going to go on that they won't play out in the media and he'll silently get traded in the offseason that, oh, wow, Eagles make daring move, trade Wentz and keep Foles? I think they could do that. Nick Foles is still he turns 30.
He's 4 years older than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he turns 30 in a couple weeks.
And Carson Wentz, and they're both...
That's not old in QB years. That's still... plenty of years left. Realistically, if you think about it,
you're not a running back. You're not a running back. Whereas if you're 30
or
years
a defensive
old,
back, yeah,
yes.
you're not over the hill at this point. you can still have Nick Foles in your current winning window. Because Eagles, if you look at it from a cap and talent perspective, they've got this year, maybe 2 more. 1 more for sure, maybe 2. To get all their winning done before it's, fuck it, we've got to shed so much talent because we can't pay it all. Mm-hmm. With that being said, plus they've mortgaged all their draft picks for players right now, and that's smart. They have a ring for it.
They got their Super Bowl.
They have hardware, so it worked out. I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of demand, because Carson Wentz seems to be a not very drama-filled guy, that conversation doesn't happen behind closed doors in the offseason. Like, guys, I'm sorry, you violated the most sacred trust. I can't play for you anymore.
Is there a little bit of hesitation too, though, on the Eagles' side? Because this is the second straight year.
It's a no-win situation from a fan base perspective. It's like you traded up and drafted this guy number 2 overall, and you're going to bail on him before his rookie deal's over when he's been pretty good. It's not like he was like Jake Locker bad or the Sanchez, It's not like he's that bad. He's a damn good player. Yeah, he's got the injury bug.
It's such a special circumstance, though. I mean, when you have a guy like Nick Foles who goes out and wins you a Super Bowl and could very well go and win you another one this year. I mean, that's a different set of circumstances.
He wins back-to-back Super Bowls. Or the other option is you keep Wentz. The only problem is Foles isn't under contract. You franchise him, and you trade him for King's ransom.
Yeah, you could do that. I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for the Eagles just for this situation to play out, just because it would be damn interesting to see what the Eagles would do if that was the case this offseason.
It's one thing to be like, all right, dude has a torn muscle in his quad, or he's got partially torn quad.
I didn't even hear about that. No, I didn't hear about that.
I encourage you to look that up.
Yeah, I'm going to. Because no, you're right. That's something that if I'm
if it's like a torn quad and it the worst comes to worst, it tears all the way, and you're not going to die from that. You're not going to be permanently paralyzed from that.
No, it's just gonna.
I can as a player, from a player's perspective, I can see how that sort of let's call it a white lie would be something I could deal with.
You know what, too? If I'm playing in meaningful games, or there's meaningful games coming up, that's probably
something...
something...
At least make it my choice.
Yeah.
For the love of God, man. It's a spinal fracture.
Yeah, a torn quad or a pulled quad.
A torn muscle can be, in most cases, can be fixed with surgery, and you'll be back in less than a year to full strength.
That, like I was saying, Dorf, if you're playing
or you're going to play through a broken hand.
Yeah, if you're playing meaningful games, that's something that I'm going to choose to play through just because I want to get out in the field and I want to help my team win.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. You're dealing with a broken back.
You told me there was nothing wrong.
Yeah. And again, too, how
your doctors either suck that bad or they're lied to you. Neither of those options are good.
How are you going to distrust your organization again? I think you're right. If I'm Carson Wentz, I want out.
Which means then you have to belly up to the bar and pay Nick Foles.
You're going to have to pay either way. You're either going to pay Carson Wentz or you're going to pay Nick Foles.
Wentz will be in the 4th year of a 5-year rookie contract here.
You're just delaying.
Next year, and Foles, I believe, is a free agent.
Yeah, you're just delaying who you're going to pay by a year. You either pay Nick Foles this year or you pay Carson Wentz the following.
I think you can get away with paying Nick Foles less, too.
Probably.
Okay. I don't know. It'll be an interesting storyline for the NFL offseason.
That's so weird, though. That is so weird how that works out. Who knows, though?
Yeah,
like I said, I'm kind of cheering for the Eagles just so that scenario has to play out. Anyways, fan question tonight. Should teams look to take Kyler Murray in the first round? The Big Lead again released a mock draft where they had the Green Bay Packers taking Kyler Murray at the end of the first round. If you are a team in the need of a quarterback at the end of the first round, do you take a look at Kyler Murray, not knowing what he's going to do, whether he goes and plays for the A's or he goes and begins an NFL career?
If I'm an NFL player, or an NFL franchise rather, I don't even consider taking him before round 4 if I don't have him already walking away from the A's before the draft. I will need him to formally give up his contract and his signing bonus and walk away from that $7.5 million the A's have to pay him when he shows up. I would need him to have walked away from that already. then absolutely. I would. You know what? If we'll do the deep dive, we'll do the deep evaluation. If he's a first round pick, he's a first round pick. Now, will I take a shot on him in round 4, 5, or 6, 7? If he's still on the board that way and he hasn't walked away from the MLB, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's worth the risk. You know what? It's a mid-round pick. You know, those guys usually don't work out. But I'm not potentially blowing a guy that you can get 7 to 10 good years out of on a hunch. On a, first-round picks only usually have like a 50% hit rate anyway. I'm not going to, then have to battle whether or not he's good enough, but whether or not he wants to play for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, those guys have to love the game and especially at the quarterback position with how much mentally is going on there, you can't split your attention. I know Russell Wilson dabbled when he went and hung out with the Rangers and Yankees at spring training for a month. Whatever. I don't care about that, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't play organized ball after he made it to the league.
Mm-hmm. Nobody thought that Russell Wilson was going to give up on the Seahawks and go in.
Absolutely not. Not after how well he played as a rookie.
Yeah. He's well. What does he project to be better at? He's projected to be a better
baseball player.
Yeah,
because he's still 5'11". I'm sorry, that's still not a recipe for success at QB in the NFL.
You know what?
And I don't think his throwing arm is that good.
You stay in baseball.
Oh hell yeah!
You stay in baseball. I don't.
You're a first round pick. You'll be treated like gold. You've already got a $7.5 million signing bonus. He's really, really good. Your time in the minor leagues will probably be short.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside is you're on a shit organization. The A's suck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if I can find a quality NFL organization, the only problem is you're going to end up on a team that sucks.
Oh yeah, if you come out now and say I'm going to
play football, you'll be on a bad team.
Yeah.
It's not whereas if you kind of maybe dip your toes in, oh no, you might be able to end up with a decent organization.
I don't know the draft positioning off the top of my head right now, but if he gets
settled yet, so there's that.
Well, the non-playoff teams are settled. He would get drafted as within the non-playoff teams.
This is a pretty weak QB class, especially with Justin Herbert going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did not look good in his bowl game.
Because I think they have Dwayne Haskins.
Haskins is probably the top QB available, and I still don't think he can throw the deep ball. So,
and he is within, I believe, the top 5.
Well, the first quarterback off the board will always go in the top 5, and
he is going. I think the mocks have him going to the Raiders.
Okay. I know this isn't the NFL draft special here. I don't think Dwayne Haskins to throw the deep ball. I think he's going to get ripped apart in evaluation, and he will not be a top first-round pick by the time it's all said and done.
Are you RG3ing him?
No. Totally different types of players. Dwayne Haskins actually hangs in the pocket and doesn't run the ball. He makes multiple reads. I just don't think he has the arm strength to huck it down the field.
So if Kyler Murray came out and said
By the way, touchdown Clemson again, 31-16.
Jesus. And we're still in the second half, too. Or the second quarter.
Field goal for Clemson, 28-16. Or 31-16. First half.
Game isn't even close to being over. You're going to get Nick Saban going in there, making those second half adjustments. Alabama
probably strangling somebody in the locker room.
Yeah. You'll see. It'll be like North Korea when all of a sudden one of their
mountains collapses.
Well, no, like when one of their high end officials goes missing. All of a sudden, you're gonna see Alabama come out, one of their top assistants not be out there anymore.
Yeah, and you'll figure out he got tied to a wall and shot with a flat cannon.
Oh man!
Didn't Kim Jong-un execute some of his military generals by literally tying them to a wall and shooting them with a flat gun?
Yeah, he shot him with an anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was his.
Was it
uncle.
like his half brother or uncle or something like that?
No, his half brother. He
got poisoned.
He got poisoned at that Kuala Lumpur airport.
Indonesia, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's what Kim Jong Un does. That's just Kim Jong Un being Kim Jong Un.
Rocket Man.
Anyways, well, I think that's going to do it this week for the Majors Live.
Good show.
Yeah, good show.
Good way to start the year.
Yeah, I think next week we're going to be it's going to be Motor City Uncut, but Majors Live will be back again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So stay tuned.
Dorf on the road.
Dorf on the road.
Dorf's going to be remoting in. Yep. Dorf will not be in studio.
Nope, Dorf will not be in studio. You'll still get to see his pretty face.
Hi.
Do that again.
Hey.
There we go. We're losing viewers now.
Turn it off. Switch camera. Get to commercial.
But everybody, in the meantime, enjoy the national championship game tonight. But like I said, we'll be back again in 2 weeks. But like I said, stay tuned for Blitzcast next week, right here on thebangers.net. So for Dorf, Shawn not here tonight. I am Adam. Bye for now.